Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we are going to continue to have changeable conditions where it's going to be wetter in the north and west and drier and warmer in the south and the east. A pretty classic split in conditions that we can see on the live radar right now. Now, as said, that's going to continue over the next few days. But as we head into next week and towards the end of next week, we could be seeing a bit of a change. As we have highlighted over the past few videos, there is the risk that we could be impacted by ex-hurricane Ernesto. Now, this currently is sat over the Caribbean, is heading towards Bermuda, and just before it arrives in Bermuda, it could temporarily upgrade to a major hurricane, so that's category 3. Now, it does look like from the latest runs, it is going to get gobbled up by the jet stream, and what we could see there is a massive injection of energy, and it does look like we could go into a fairly stormy pattern into the final 10 days or so of August. Now, there's kind of different scenarios within that, as we'll see from the latest longer range runs. Just kind of two main ones are a general unsettled stormy pattern with westerly winds with repeated lows moving through, and the other scenario is more of a bigger hit but more of a singular low, and that is directly from the ex-hurricane Ernesto, the remnants of that. So the first option is kind of that energy getting injected into the jet stream, just more activity in general over a longer period of time, or more of a sudden hit with Ernesto remaining a little bit more cohesive as a system, and we actually get a direct impact from that severe low. We'll have a look at the latest runs in the longer term. As ever, it is very uncertain, but we'll try and give a good estimate of what the models are showing today. So do remember, if you enjoy videos, do like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. If you start on the live radar, you can see the split at the moment, recording this around 11 PM, and you can see it is warmer and drier in the south and the east, wetter in the north and west. You've pretty much got the jet stream across parts of northern England at the moment, so to the north of that, it is cooler and wetter, to the south of that, it is milder, warmer and drier. So heavy rain moving in for them at the moment. It is going to slowly progress eastwards and southwards. We are going to see a bit of rain through Thursday evening for southern and eastern areas, but it would have reduced its intensity and its widespread nature by that point. Now, do have a look at the temperatures this evening. You can see it is still warm in the east. It's still got pretty humid air sat there, much cooler in the north and west. It does look like it could remain humid for the next couple of days in the south and the east, before slowly dying away into the weekend with slightly fresher conditions coming in from the west. Now, if I do go over to the latest UKV, you can see the rain moving into the north and the west at the moment, slowly pushing south and eastwards, impacting much of northern England, Wales, Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, parts of southern Scotland there, through much of Thursday. Quite a miserable day there. But to the south and the east, it's another sunny and pretty warm day, as we are in the warmer sectors. This is a cold front bringing in cooler Atlantic air. Eventually, that rain moves through overnight into Friday, so a bit of rain in the south and the east, but overnight, around midnight, it looks like it could be heaviest. And then as we head into Friday, another decent day, actually, lots of sunshine, a few sporadic showers in the north, but generally really quite pleasant. The same can be said really for Saturday. It is a westerly flow. We are in fresher air, as we'll see in a minute, so it isn't going to be amazingly warm, but both Saturday and Sunday look decent before Monday start to see a bit of rain moving in. If we have a look at the upper air temperatures, you can see nothing special really for Friday, for Saturday, or really for Sunday. Generally, upper air temperatures around average, maybe even slightly below average for the time of year. But the most important thing is it is looking pretty dry indeed. Now, do look at the max temperatures. You can see as we head into Thursday afternoon, temperatures topping out around the mid-20s in the east, around 25 degrees or so, warm and humid and dry there. To the north and west, in the teens or low teens perhaps, as we see that rain and cloud moving in. Now, as we progress towards Friday, temperatures still decent in the south and east, but slowly cooling, a little more towards the low 20s here, high teens further northwards. And then for Saturday and for Sunday, both days temperatures widely high teens towards low 20s. So decent, pleasant, but really nothing special. Again, when we looked at those precipitation charts, you'd expect, being in the middle of August, those temperatures to really rise, but the upper air temperatures aren't that warm. It's a fresh, cool North Atlantic air mass. So although, yes, it's pretty decent in terms of the precipitation, very, very clear skies, we aren't actually going to get all too warm. And the same can be said for Monday, even cooler on Monday, as we do have that rain moving in. Now do have a look at the longer range, have a look at that stormy pattern that could be setting up into the final part of August. You can see a general westerly flow at the moment, but no real deep lows. You've got quite a decent ridge of high pressure bridging in from the south, which is why it's decently dry. You can see, though, Hurricane Ernesto on the left of the screen. By Monday, it starts to get influenced by the jet stream, or it starts to influence the jet stream, sorry. Here, it moves in, and it does get kind of consumed into the jet stream. So we don't see a direct impact from Ernesto. You can see it kind of disintegrates away, but injects a lot of energy into the jet stream, and then we just see quite a strong westerly pattern towards 284 hours. Nothing ridiculous, but definitely would have a fairly strong reaction, and you can see quite a strong westerly flow, and we do lose the high pressure for a time, and that means that we could see quite a few barrages of rain, especially in the west there. You can see that into the final period of August. Whereas at the moment, yes, rain in the north, but actually fairly dry over the next few days before eventually all that rain does move in. So GFS doesn't go massively stormy, but it definitely goes a lot more unsettled with a lot more rain and stronger winds. Now, to compare to the GEM, again, high pressure in control over the coming days in the south, lower pressure in the north, and Ernesto moving in, much weaker initially coming out of northeast Canada, gets consumed by the jet stream, and we do see some really quite deep lows there towards 240 hours. Again, nothing that is directly impacting us. The centre of the low is to our north, so Ernesto does get consumed into this larger low, but it does bring some really quite unsettled conditions. If we look at that precipitation, lots of heavy rain, and seeing lots of very strong winds. So quite a stormy pattern there from the GEM. Again, we'll have to wait and see exactly how it does play out, but GEM going on a lot more intense than the GFS. If you do look at the latest ECMWF, again a westerly flow over the coming days, but quite a lot of high pressure. Ernesto exiting out the northeast of Canada, clipping parts of Newfoundland there, so quite a bit closer to the coast. That could be even more impactful for those regions, and still looking fairly strong. And then as it moves in, it actually stays intact. So even though it does lose its intensity, you can see that low doesn't disintegrate away and get consumed by the North Atlantic low. It actually stays as its own system and does bring in some very heavy rain and some very strong winds. Again, nothing record-breaking, just generally a very stormy pattern. And then towards day 10, we see another low-pressure system moving in from the west. Again, I have to keep a close eye on that, as that could spin up. So ECMWF going pretty severe there, keeping Ernesto more intact, or at least the remnants as kind of a separate low. So you can see three different scenarios here, and it's really difficult to say exactly how it will play out, because there is a lot going on, a lot of complexity with how Ernesto impacts the jet stream. Because not only do we have to forecast Ernesto, which is highly, highly mobile because it is a hurricane, but also it's how the jet stream, little kinks in the jet stream, and what actually happens in the North Atlantic when Ernesto does move into those waters. So a very complicated scenario. We probably won't have all the answers until at least the weekend, maybe even early next week, once Ernesto is finally starting to impact the jet stream. Even then, we'll roughly know the pattern, but again, intensities could be really up and down. We'll have to wait and see. I've shown you the scenarios today, and you can see there are still a lot of different outcomes that we could see. If we finish by looking at the ensemble, you can see the general outlook is generally hovering around average. Precipitation doesn't actually look all too high, so even though it could turn stormy and windy, the majority of the rain will likely be further northwards and westwards. Even though the jet stream will become more active, it doesn't really shift southwards. So it just means that yes, there will be more rain and there'll be more wind, but it will still be focused in the north and west. Because, for example, if we put Glasgow on, a lot more unsettled there towards the final period of August. So it really is more of a northern and western kind of pattern. If we put on the sea level pressure, you see a few big dips there, but again, we'd expect to see more of those towards Glasgow, some real big dips there. So those would be the ones that are keeping Ernesto intact and really spinning up a low, maybe about 5 or 6 there. So again, we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. And the same if we put on the ECMWF ensembles. Again, some really deep lows appearing, but huge, huge scatter. And then if we just have a look at the upper air temperatures and precipitation for Glasgow, very similar to the GFS. And the same can be said for London. Very up and down. Maybe a bit more precipitation there towards the middle parts of the run, toward the end of August, but very similar overall to the ECMWF. We'll have to wait and see how this does play out, but it could be a bit of a change into the final week of August. Haven't had too much stormy weather this summer. We have had in past summers. We've even seen named storms in past summers, but this could really put a spanner in the works if this system does properly arrive. We do regularly see ex-hurricanes impacting the jet stream. Sometimes they come to nothing, sometimes they can be pretty severe. We've seen plenty of pretty severe storms coming out the remnants of ex-hurricanes over the past decade. Could we be seeing another one here towards the end of August? We'll have to wait and see. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.